Buenos días, bienvenidos todos a este segundo día, el segundo Joomla Day en Guatemala. Antes de iniciar con las actividades de este día, les voy a comentar que por la mañana van a estar vendiendo los welcome packs a 35 quetzales, que les incluye la bolsita, el lapicero y la libreta, allá afuera en la mesa de registro. Ahora sí, para iniciar las actividades de este día, vamos a comenzar con una conferencia acerca de la iniciativa Think Bigger de Joomla, la cual tiene como objetivo animar y potenciar a los miembros de esta comunidad Joomla de todo el mundo a utilizar Joomla para crear sitios que sirvan a iniciativas caritativas y nobles. Después de compartir la visión de Joomla Think Bigger, podremos tener una discusión abierta para hablar más acerca de oportunidades y retos y las diferentes formas que los miembros de la comunidad pueden involucrarse y contribuir a esta iniciativa. Para esta conferencia, Paul Orwig, presidente de Open Source Matters, entidad legal y financiera detrás de Joomla, además de ser un profesional web y alguien que ha aportado grandemente a la comunidad Joomla, es también una persona con mucho sentido de solidaridad y comparte en esta ocasión esta visión y sentimiento por ayudar, que él comprende que viene implícita en el mismo nombre de Joomla, que significa todos juntos. Por favor, un fuerte aplauso para Paul.
Buenos dias. Thank you. I have good news this morning for the presentation that I'm going to give here this morning. There's pictures. It's not just text. Joomla is known for many things. And we're most known for the good software that we have that's used by millions of websites all over the world. We're proud of that. Thank you. What I want to talk to you all about this morning is a new idea called Think Bigger, and it's intended to try to help take the same power and energy and resources that we have in our Joomla community, our people who are working together to build great websites, write great code, support it, and also try to use that same power, that same energy to try to help focus on helping to make the world a better place. This idea really started a couple of years ago in a way on the Community magazine. We had an idea to reach out to the community and see if we wanted to if we could assemble a team of volunteers that would make themselves available to build a website for a worthy cause that would use Joomla. And we had the United Nations had a project in Rio de Janeiro for a conference that's coming up. Actually, it already happened now in 2012. And they asked for help with the Joomla website, and we formed a team to help them build that. The idea was to continue with that and continue to form teams that would be able to build and support websites for more worthy causes and charities around the world. And so that's really what this project is about is taking Joomla and using the power of the Joomla.org website, which gets upwards of 7 million user visits every month, and using that as a way to give more exposure to these websites for worthy causes. Also as a way to provide more support within the project to help recognize the volunteers who might be interested in working and helping with these websites. And also provide an opportunity for sponsors with products and services, extensions, templates, web hosting, things like that, to contribute those services to help. I'm going to talk through just the general idea of this concept, because that's really all it is at this point, is just a concept. It's been presented at Joomla Day Denmark, at the Joomla World Conference in San Jose, California, at Joomla Day New England, Joomla Day Boston. It might have been presented at Joomla Day New England informally. And now we're presenting it here, and then we're going to present it again at the J and Beyond Conference in the Netherlands. And so we're trying, at this point, we're trying to just sort of share the idea, share the concept, and gather more ideas from other people in the community, such as you all. And so I'm going to share the high-level concept here, and then really for the rest of the time that we have, I want to ask you all for your ideas, for your thoughts, for your questions about it. So as you're listening to this, please think about, yeah, I think this is a good idea, or maybe not so much, and we're going to figure this out together. That's my hope. So one aspect of this idea is to try to connect with the Joomla user groups. We have roughly 300 user groups around the world, and that meet on a weekly or monthly basis. So local people like you all using Joomla that are gathering together. I've heard that there's a concept here in Guatemala of the Joomla Cafe, which is an opportunity for people to get together over a coffee and talk about Joomla. And so we've thought that trying to work directly with user groups and encourage them and provide tools and resources to help them come together and build and support these websites is one way to help make this idea successful. So the next question I have is how will we support this idea? And there's a variety of ways that the Joomla project, I think, can give some direct support that can help make this idea more successful. Well, one thing is, again, I mentioned earlier the Joomla.org homepage. Over 7 million user visits every month. And you can see on the bottom of the homepage, we have a section where it says, look who's using Joomla. And these are companies, big companies, eBay, the United Nations that I mentioned earlier, Barnes & Noble, General Electric, McDonald's, Pizza Hut. We have a whole section here that highlights commercial businesses that are using Joomla, and that's great, right? You click on those links and you can see listings of, you get more information. We also down here, you can't read it, but there's a listing, or there's a link for government sites around the world that are using Joomla. And I know that in Latin America, Joomla is very popular with governments and NGOs, and I think that's great. And we've got about 3,000 links underneath this link that point to different government agencies around the world that are using Joomla. So we're happy to highlight those as well. So we've got the commercial side covered with businesses, got government agencies that are covered with the link down here. And part of this idea is that we would add another link to the Joomla.org homepage that would say, you know, here's a listing of websites that are built with Joomla that are for worthy causes, for charities, for nonprofits that are going to help make the world a better place. So we're showing people that not only is Joomla just great code, but it's also a great community behind it that has a higher purpose. And the idea would be that you click on that link, then you would see a listing of the different websites that that built with Joomla that are within that structure of worthy causes, charities, and nonprofits. And we could have a listing also of the volunteers who help work on those websites, and of the organizations and Joomla template providers, service providers that have helped support that effort. So we can also continue to leverage the power and the traffic on the Joomla.org website to write blogs about different charities and nonprofits, and to direct more traffic and highlight that. That'll support those websites and give more recognition to the volunteers who are working on it. We have the Joomla Community Magazine that has already published 2 articles about this concept, and is available and happy to publish some more, to give some more exposure to it. We've got the social networks. In addition to Joomla.org website, Joomla has a strong presence on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and we can use that as well. The Joomla project also has a public relations firm that helps us with press releases and announcements and in interviews with the press about different things that Joomla is doing. And usually those are tied to their major releases of the Joomla software. But I think this is the kind of concept that news organizations would be happy to write articles about things that an open source community is working on, in addition to just releasing and supporting software, but what they're doing with it. And then finally, at events like this one, and like the ones that I mentioned earlier, we can announce the idea and talk to people about it and see who's interested. So the kind of where we're at now is that we have a team of 3 people who are volunteers who are trying to help plan and coordinate this idea. It's myself as one, and then we have Frank from Germany and Henrik from Denmark, and the 3 of us are the Joomla Think Bigger team right now. And we've been talking about different ideas, different challenges. We've reached out to some hosting services, some template providers, some extension providers, and asked them if they would like to provide their extensions, hosting services, templates to these type of websites for free, and in return for some recognition. And we've gotten some good positive response about that too. And so we're one of the hopes that I have out of this is if there's anyone here this morning who feels like they would like to get involved and contribute and become a volunteer and join this team that we're forming to try to support this idea, then please let me know, whether it's here during this session or sometime later today, or even connecting with me by email afterwards. And it'd be great to have someone or more than one person from Latin America to help and support that effort. So there's a lot of benefits that I see that could potentially come out of this initiative if we can get the right kind of support and the right kind of resources behind it. For one thing, if we continue to stay with that connection with Joomla user groups, we can strengthen those user groups by giving them a common purpose, something to work together on, and a way to interact more directly with their local communities and websites for worthy causes and charities. There will be a lot of pride within the Joomla community that, again, not just that Joomla is known for being great software, a great content management system, but that, part of my dream for this project is that Joomla would also be known as the community of people who are not just building great software, but who are committed to trying to help make the world a better place. And we're proving it with the support of the project and the time and contributions given by volunteers for that. So our next steps for this project are to continue talking about it. I mentioned that we're going to have a session at the Joomla and Beyond, J and Beyond conference in the Netherlands next month. and we're gonna talk about it some more then. We're in the process of reaching out to template providers, extension developers, hosting services to ask for their support, and we're recruiting team members if anyone's interested in helping get involved with the project. We're also, one of the things that we're trying to figure out and understand better and decide what the best path is you know, if it makes more sense for us to try to encourage user groups, whether they're Joomla cafes or official Joomla groups or something else, to volunteer to build and support these websites, or if it makes more sense to form a set of project documentation and training and educational seminars that we could promote and publicize for worthy causes in different locations where the Joomla project and volunteers might not build those websites directly, but we might teach those charities, worthy causes, nonprofits, how to build their own websites with Joomla. And we could make some resources available to them in terms of hosting, templates, extensions, so that they could have great websites themselves with using Joomla without having to spend a lot of money and resources on their own. One of the things that, in talking with people yesterday and even this morning, one of the common themes and common ideas that I've heard is and been reminded of is that there's a need for more education for end users about how to use Joomla, and in some various areas I've heard people tell me about people who are working on offering training sessions and workshops in different areas, and I think that this is another area that we could maybe focus on, training sessions, workshops, and coming up with materials and guidelines and to help these kinds of organizations build really good, effective websites, not just a website that works, but a website that can help bring them charitable donations, bring them supporters, interact more with the community, and again, get more recognition on the Joomla.org website with links to those organizations, and help strengthen them and help them grow in that way. So that's another kind of way that we could use this idea, not just maybe directly building websites, but providing training and education and workshops for people to offer with that. And we need to be able to offer that in all different languages. Yes. It's.
To give you an idea, here at this university, we have a master's degree in business.
Okay.
And what we're trying there to do is the Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Guatemala, to get in touch with people who make handicrafts and like that. So the students here can help them build the websites.
Yeah.
So they can promote their products.
That's a great idea. Thanks for sharing that. Maybe we could talk later and connect with email or something.
Very successful at it. Last year we struggled a lot in order to accomplish it. But the ministry, something went wrong there and we didn't get enough people on the right time. So this year we're trying again to make all the contacts possible through them in order to
All right.
these little projects. The problem is that the students have to accomplish the project in like a 3-month framework.
Yeah.
So they only have like 3 months to build this project.
Right.
So if they're not on time, get started, then it's gone.
Yep. So I have two thoughts around that, maybe more than two. I always say two, and then it ends up being 4 or 5. But one is, it seems like it's a common thing that I've experienced in working with the Joomla project, is that we have a lot of good ideas, and sometimes there'll be a an initial try to make that idea, bring it to life. There'll be some problems, and then nothing more happens. I think we've always got the opportunity to learn from whatever things don't work out, and as long as we have people who are committed to the concept, then we can always learn from previous experiences and figure out better ways to do it. And so I think that, you know, what you described with the challenges isn't unusual. I see it in the Joomla project too, and I think that if we've got the right group of people that want to provide, that believe in the concept, want to provide support for it, and we can make that happen. And maybe the Joomla project and the resources that we have can work with you all in the university to help make that happen. So let's stay in touch about that. Is Guillermo? Yeah. Okay. And the second thought is that one of the things that I think has a lot of potential with this idea is the concept of a Joomla distribution. And you all may be familiar with that idea, but you know, the concept of a distribution is that not just the core Joomla application, but a set of pre-installed, pre-configured extensions that would be targeted to fulfill a specific purpose. And so I think, as with this concept, as we get smarter about the kinds of features and website you know, applications that a worthy cause, a charity, a nonprofit organization might have, for example, you know, an e-commerce capability to receive donations, a blogging application with ties to social networking sites to be able to promote and publicize what's going on with their organization. You know, a way to interact with people who want to request more information, who need help. All of those things are Joomla, a set of Joomla extensions to be able to support those features. But for somebody who isn't really comfortable with Joomla, hasn't worked with it before, they might have a hard time finding what those right set of extensions are and then configuring them to all work together. But over time, I think if this idea takes off, then we can develop a pre-built set of distribution that includes all of those extensions, includes some documentation, includes some you know, links to training materials about how to use that, and we could make it easier for volunteers to create those websites, or to again hand it off to those worthy causes with some documentation, with some training, with some support, so that they could more quickly and more easily and more effectively have not just a website that works, but that really is effective for what their goals are. But we need some time and thought and expertise and attention to be able to learn what those different needs are, and to find extension providers who are willing to offer that as well. So, you know, part of what we're trying to do at this stage is announce it, talk about it, get people to think about the idea and decide if they, you know, think they want to get involved, and add their ideas to what might help to make it more successful. So this is an email address that, if any, hopefully it's an easy one to remember. Think bigger at community.joomla.org. If you have any ideas, about how to make this initiative more successful, send an email there. I'll get it, and I'll respond to you. If you want to get involved with this concept, send an email there. I'll get it, and we'll talk more. We can talk more directly today. If you're working with Joomla, if you have an extension or a set of extensions or templates that you provide, or a hosting service or something else along those lines, and you want to kind of make those available for organizations that might tie in with this project and get some recognition on the Joomla.org website for it, send an email there and I'll get it. So I think that this idea really has a lot of potential. Again, you know, we're proud of the Joomla software. I'm prouder of the community that creates that Joomla software, and I would love it with this concept for Joomla not to just be known as one of the world's best free open source content management systems, but that I would love for Joomla to also be known as a community of people around the world who are coming together, not just with the vision to make and support great software, but also to help make the world a better place. So that's the concept. And again, at this point, we're not really locked in or committed on exactly how it's going to work, but I wanted to take some more time that we have here this morning to ask if there's any questions, if there's any comments, if there's any more ideas, if there's any more suggestions that anybody has about how we can try to make this idea more successful. Or you just want more coffee. I do too. Another two more twists on this idea that I really like. We talk about the notion of accessibility, and the idea of accessibility is that people who are blind, people who might have difficulties with their hands or be paralyzed. There's a whole set of issues around trying to make the web, trying to make websites more accessible to people with vision problems, with disabilities, handicaps, things along those lines. And there's some challenges with building Joomla templates, not just Joomla templates. There's challenges with building websites in any content management systems or just straight HTML to really optimize those websites for people who have those disabilities and handicaps. And we're aware of those within the Joomla project, and we've got people who are committed to trying to do their best to establish Joomla as a leader in that area. I think with this project, the Think Bigger project, we can help support that some more, and we can push farther and harder to really make Joomla also be known as the content management system better than any other in the world that wants to support accessibility needs and requirements. And I'd be really proud if that was part of what our project was known for too. And so I think we can put some resources and help behind that as well. A second point is that I talked to one person yesterday who's just starting with Joomla, a graphic designer, and wants to learn more about how to build websites with Joomla. And part of the challenge when you're getting started is to build up a portfolio of websites so that you can show people what you've worked on with Joomla so that you can prove yourself that you know what you're doing and then you would be a good choice. This kind of project, I think, gives that same potential opportunity if we have a set of worthy causes, charities, nonprofit organizations who are saying, hey, we really need help with the website. Joomla project, can you help us? And if we have a group of people who are available, maybe they're new to getting into Joomla, and they say, yeah, I'll take some time to volunteer to help these organizations build a website, and as a result, you can build that portfolio that you can take to other clients as you try to establish and start your Joomla business or your reputation as an effective Joomla site builder or website designer, to say, here's some websites that I've worked on using Joomla, and so I can build an effective website for you too. So those are a couple of other areas where I think this idea, this concept has the potential to open doors for individuals who are wanting to not just help make the world a better place, but also try to further their careers or their livelihoods as a Joomla website builder, website developer. Any other thoughts or questions or comments? There's a saying, I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt, who was the wife of one of the United States presidents, Theodore Roosevelt. And I don't have that quote exactly right in my mind, but it was something along the lines of, never doubt that a small group of individuals can change the world. And in fact, in reality, in truth, that those are the only kinds of groups that have changed the world. It's a small group of committed individuals. And so we've got 3 on this team now. We'd love to have more help with it. And that's part of our hope too, is to try to help, give our time to help make the world a better place, use Joomla, use the power of our software and the power of our community. Any other thoughts or questions or comments? Thanks for listening. I think that yesterday was a great day. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to learn and share and connect together today as well. One more thing that I want to mention is just that the importance of, in the Joomla project and in the Joomla community, of valuing and recognizing and supporting diversity in all different forms. And that's one of our challenges in the project, with people all around the world speaking different languages. There's a language communication diversity challenge problem. We're trying to get better with that. We're trying to listen to what people around the world need. There's another challenge in the diversity area, and that's in gender diversity. And I mentioned it briefly yesterday that the technology field in general, I think, it's harder for women to become established in the technology field. There's a lot of reasons for that, and I won't go into it. It has nothing to do with skills or intelligence. It's just, there's just some gender barriers there. One of the things that I'm really pleased and happy with to see here yesterday and today is the number of women that we have that are participating here, that are engaged with Joomla. We really want to support that. We really want to encourage that, and so I want to thank all the women who are here, and I want to challenge all of us men to really support, recognize, encourage, and help to make things easier and better to support more women, both with the Joomla project as well as in technology, because it's really that diversity that I think makes us stronger, more effective, and it just, that's the good side of us as on our human nature, I think, is trying to really support everyone in all areas of diversity. So I want to especially thank all the women who were here yesterday and who are here again today, and say that the Joomla project is really serious about trying to support diversity in all different ways, and especially in the area of gender diversity. Anything else from anybody? Questions, comments, last chance? Going. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Send me an email, pull me aside, talk to me. Oh, also wanted to mention that Guillermo Bravo. Guillermo, raise your hand. Guillermo, raise your hand. So Guillermo there, if anybody wants to talk, ask questions with me, David Hurley, any others of us who are primarily English speakers, and our Español es pobre, and you're not comfortable just directly coming up and talking because of the language diversity challenge barrier, then Lionel Canton, also back there next to Guillermo, either of those guys are happy to serve as translators, and you can come to them and say, hey, I'd like to talk to Paul about this, I'd like to talk to David about that, but my English isn't very good, and those guys can serve as translators. Yes, sir. Okay, and your name? Manuel is volunteering for that as well. So really, that's the whole point of me traveling here from Colorado, of David traveling here from his home in North Carolina, is for us to not for us to get up here and talk, but for us to listen. So thanks again for your time. Thanks for considering this project, and if you want to get involved with it, come talk to me later today, or send an email to that address, which it's thinkbigger at community.joomla.org. Thank you.